Hello, everybody, and welcome to my first ever Bloomburrow Draft. Huge shout out to Wizards of the Coast for the free preview account in the early access event that lets me get this recorded early, but let's dive on in. If you do enjoy this video, remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for more, and comment with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. And if you would like to find an overview of the set, you can find my draft guide with top commons, archetype overviews, combat tricks, combos, all that good stuff already posted on my channel. So that'll help you get ready for your drafts and stuff like that. We have opened one of the best mythic rares in the set, Dragonhawk Fate's Tempest. It's in a color that I really like off of my initial impressions, and we are going to be taking this card very happily. 5 mana, 5/5 flyer. And of course, I will be trying to hover over the cards as much as possible. 5 mana, 5/5 flyer. When it enters, you can exile the top card. You exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 4 or greater. So that includes itself. So you exile at least one card, and you can play it until the end of your turn, and it deals 2 damage to each opponent for each of the cards that are still exiled. So if you don't play the cards, you deal 2 damage. So the first turn it comes into play, it's usually just going to deal the damage. Maybe 2, maybe 4, but yeah, really good. There's also Byway Barterer, which is a really good card. If you spend a lot of mana, you can discard your hand to draw 2 cards. Another really good card. I'm going to make sure I talk about the cards as much as possible. In the commons, I think Agate Assault is the best one. 3 mana, deal 4. I'm going to talk about the cards and hover over them because I think that's going to be more useful than like jumping around a lot like I often do, because I know that a lot of people don't know the cards yet. I have been studying. Okay, so we started off with a red card, and it's a really good red card. And so that means strategically, we would love to just keep taking red cards, because the more red cards we have, the more likely we are to be able to just put Dragonhawk in our deck, even if red isn't the most open. So Robin, Roughshod Duo is the only red card in this pack, and I think it's solid, but I don't think it's like worth taking second, because I think there's just going to be better options second pick most of the time. 3 mana, 3/2 is just okay stats. Buffing stuff is solid, but not really a card we want to second pick. Feed the Cycle, however, is a really nice card. It is just 2 mana, and then if you forage, which means exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food, then you get to just destroy something 2 mana instant speed. Really, really good card. There is also Mouse Trapper, which is another really good card. You can play like a red-white deck with Dragonhawk. I mean, you can just pair Dragonhawk with any color, though. And when it becomes the target of a spell, you can tap target creature. So Valiant means that you get rewarded for targeting things. The rare isn't necessarily the best. Just giving your stuff hexproof, and if you give your opponent a card, so they get to draw a card, then you get to get a little bit of value there. Like, you get to like give your stuff indestructible as well, I think. But yeah, so we've started off with a red card and then a black card. Taking monocolored cards early is really nice because it just gives you more flexibility of direction. So now, like, if I took a Vine Reap Mentor, I could pair that with my Feed the Cycles because it's a black-green card. This card is really good, 2 mana, 3/2, and you can make food tokens and use that for foraging, and just being a 2 mana, 3/2 is really good for black-green. There's also a Beauregard Mentor. We just saw one of these pass by. Again, I don't love taking these gold cards early because they are quite inflexible. I'm leaning towards maybe taking a Spellgyre. Counter target spell, surveil 2, draw 2 cards. Those are your 2 options. Neither mode is particularly efficient. I mean, the 4 mana mode is okay for the drawing, but countering something for 4 mana is really a bit weak. I might just take Savor here. I think Savor is a really nice option. Just shrink something, get a food token, and it keeps me in one color. It plays well with Feed the Cycle, and so I think that's just a nice little combo to take here early. Okay, it's interesting. Dragonhawk, when it enters or attacks, gets its ability, and Rockface Village lets you, I guess it only buffs lizards, mouses, otters, or raccoons. So not mouses, mice. Don't worry, I know how English works. But that is just something to keep in mind. This can't buff my Dragonhawk. Jolly Gerbils is oftentimes just going to be a 2 mana, 2/3. If you are gifting your opponent stuff, though, you get a little bit of an extra advantage. Whisker Quill Scribe is another interesting card because if I'm using it as a like early drop, it can help me filter my draws to draw my Dragonhawk more often. There's a Fountainport Bell, which is good because it lets me get some fixing into my deck. So really a lot of options here. What do I want to take here? I might want to take the Scribe or the Bell. I'm just going to take the Bell. I think Bell is going to be in my deck guaranteed, and it's like a flexible card that's just going to like give me options down the road. And I just kind of like that. The fact that it can be fixing and fill my graveyard for stuff that cares about that, like my foraging. I don't think I'm going to miss out on the other cards all that much. I don't think red has been open. That's just my current vibe. And I do think Thundertrap Trainer is really good. It's like a really nice card. Just enters, look at the top 4 cards. You can reveal a non-creature, non-land. So you get like a bit of value there. And then if you play Offspring, which is a new mechanic, then you get a 1/1 copy of it, which will also trigger the effect. So that's a really good card. There is also a Baker's Bane Duo, which I really like as a 2-drop. It makes a food. So I could be leaning towards more of a forage style deck. Red has not seemed open. Black has seemed medium open. There's this +1/+1 counters card, but I think we're just going to take the trainer. I think it'll be the card that I'm happiest to have if that archetype is open. Red, I'm just going to assume that I can't play this Dragonhawk because red has been so unopen. Black has been a little bit open. We're seeing a little bit of blue here. I think Lilypad Village is a really good one. If you have a bird, frog, otter, or rat, which is like blue and then a lot of the color combos that combo with blue, then you just get to Surveil 2 in the mid to late game, which is a really nice ability to have because it means that you're going to be able to just like continually find spells. What does Scavenger's Talent do? Creatures die, you make foods. When you sack a permanent, they mill, and then you can sacrifice 3 permanents to return a creature. Yeah, that's a little bit tough. There is also 3-tree Root Weaver, which can be pretty reasonable. I think I'm just going to take the Lilypad Village, though. Just maybe lean a little bit towards this blue-black deck that I'm drafting. Now I think I will take Lily's Splash Mentor, or at least consider it. This card plays well with the Thunder Trap Trainer. It's kind of interesting because I've seen a little bit of black. Like this card can actually play decently with the Lily Splash Mentor. We can also play like Feed the Cycle or Savor as a splash, thanks to having taken the Bell. I know I'm panning around those cards a little fast. The only real other option for the Lily Splash Mentor, I think, is this Dire Downdraft as just a pretty good card. But I think Lily Splash Mentor has the potential to be one of the best cards in my deck. And as a result, I'm going to be pretty happy taking this here, 7th. Though I do think that Dire Downdraft is good. Getting a Coruscation Mage pick 8 is crazy, though. And I do really want to play red to go with my Dragonhawk. This card is just excellent. When you cast a non-creature, deals 1 damage, and then when you can get one extra copy of it. Because Dragonhawk is my best card. I feel like I'm going to be doing a little bit of splashing, and this Fountain Port Bell is going to really help me with that. Dire Downdraft is like the safe pick, but I'm just going to speculate a little bit more on the Mage. And we wield a Tempest Angler. Oftentimes I would want to take the Lilypad Village here, but I'm just going to make sure. I think having 1 copy of this is good, but like 2 copies, it starts to get a little dicey to cast your blue spells. Like if you go 8/8 and then the Lilypad Village, it's like nice. But if you go like 2 Lilypad Villages, it's a little bit harder. I think this card's going to be really good in a blue-red deck. And I'm actually like pretty happy with how we've navigated this. We kind of like jumped around a little bit, but now we've kind of found our sweet spot here. I'd rather take the Sharepot than the Waterspout Warden. This will trigger my non-creature spells. It'll be a little bit of removal, a little bit of food for potentially splashed Feed the Cycles. Yeah. Ooh, so green cards, High Stride, Cash Grab. I'm just going to take Mind Spiral. I don't think I really want it, but we will see. And now we'll get a Rockface Village. I think Dewdrop Cure is a trap. It's just too hard to set up. Let me get another Sharepot. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be playing blue-red, and then we open up an incredible card. I don't think we can take this here. We didn't see like any white cards pack 1, and we already kind of are a little bit dicey on our playable count because I'll just hover over this. So basically it's a 4-mana 4/5 that like catches you up. You gain some life if your opponent has more life. You create some tokens if your opponent has more creatures. Draw a card if they have more cards. Get a treasure if they have more land. So it's really, really good. But we don't have a single white card. We've kind of been like specking around a lot and trying out different things already. And so I think we might just take a Dire Downdraft here, get a like solid card that's like guaranteed to make our deck, or hopefully pretty much guaranteed to make our deck. And it's not the best start to a pack, but I don't think we can really afford to speculate into white as well as all the other stuff we've been doing. There are some green cards if we wanted to spec into that a little bit, but I don't really know if we want to do that even because we just kind of want to stick to blue-red. This card's also pretty good if we have lizards, but we don't really have lizards at the moment. Yes! Oh my gosh, we get Ral Crackling Wit. What a start! Oh my gosh, this card's fantastic in blue-red. I'm really happy that we've gone this direction now, and now we get to play with a sweet Planeswalker. So you can make otter tokens. It can grow really quickly if you cast a lot of instants and sorceries. Draw 3 cards, discard 2 cards, discard advantage, and then if you ever ultimate it, you are in pretty good shape. So that's an easy pick here. There's actually not a great second card for us in this pack. I do think that Mist Breath Elder is an interesting card to think about because the way it reads is different than the way it plays. So it says at the beginning of your upkeep, return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you get a counter. Otherwise, you may return the Elder. So if you don't have any other creatures, then it's just a 2/2 for 1 mana. But once you start playing other creatures, you have to bounce them. So just keep that in mind. I think Thought Shucker would be the other card out of this pack, but Baker's Bane Duo is so much better. Ooh, another red card. Emberheart Challenger. So it's a 2 and a 2/2 with haste and prowess. And then when it becomes the target of a spell or ability, exile the top card until the end of turn. I can play that card. So do I have things that target it right now? Rockface Village is the perfect combo with this. It's like a nice little late game engine. So that's always something to note, is that like Valiant cards play really well with Rockface Village. And what else do I have that targets? Nothing else that really targets here. The other option is to take like a Shore Up to protect my Dragonhawk, which is really nice, or take out the trash. I am going to take the Emberheart Challenger. I think I might end up with some ways to target it, and a 2 mana 2/2 haste prowess is going to play out well in my deck. I think take out the trash might end up being a better option in the final deck I end up with, just 2 mana deal 3. But I think that it's worth trying out the cards like Emberheart Challenger, and it is a really good combo in the late game with my Rockface Village. Here, Pearl of Wisdom is really good with the blue-red theme of just casting instants and sorceries. I have Otters, I think, presumably. Currently, I have 3 Otters, and that's pretty nice. There's another Rockface Village to combo with my Emberheart Challenger, but I'm going to have a lot of instants and sorceries, so 1 Lilypad Village, 1 Rockface Village is probably as aggressive as I want to get on that front. I think I'm going to take the Pearl of Wisdom over another Dire Downdraft and over Conduct Electricity. 2 mana draw 2 is just really good. Let's evaluate our curve a little bit. I don't think we're going to try to splash. I think our Rockface Village and Lilypad Village are already kind of taxing our mana a little bit, and this card will just like help us recover a little bit from that taxation on the mana. Hearthborn Battler. When you player casts their second spell, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. Perfect. I was reading this and thought it would just say deal 2 damage to that player, and I was like, oh no, that's not what we want. But this card is just what we want. It's a nice aggressive threat, and we're going to be casting a lot of spells, hopefully, like chaining through some card draw. So I'm just going to cut the black cards from our deck for now. As I said, I think the Fountain Port Bell is going to be great for triggering our non-creature spells cards, and just making sure that even though we're playing a village and a Rockface, a couple villages, we're going to still be able to cast our spells. Oh my gosh. So this is a tough pick right off the bat here. There's a Quake Tusk Boar, which I think is the pick. 5 mana, 5/5, Reach, Trample, Haste. The Trample Haste is the really important part of this card. Mind Whisker is really sweet as a just 3-drop that like slowly filters your draw, but I don't think it's as important for our strategy. 3 mana, 3/2 is just not going to be as impactful. I think would rather just have like the big guy at the top end. This card is really, really good. There's another Fountain Port Bell. I would definitely play, I think, as many Fountain Port Bells as I could get as like perfect ways to trigger non-creatures. Okay, Festival of Embers is a cool card. You can cast instants and sorceries from your graveyard by paying a life in addition to their other costs. If a card token we put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So you basically get to just cast all your instants and sorceries. I don't know if I really want to be doing that. I'm just going to take Sugarcoat here as a removal spell. Also, NicolaiBolas preview card. Hype. But the ability to just have a removal spell is going to be really nice for me here. I already passed up a little bit on removal, and I think just getting it is going to work out well. Now there is Wishing Well, so we can cast instants and sorceries from our graveyard using the Wishing Well. I kind of want to try that out. There's also Shore Up. Shore Up actually is probably just better, but instants and sorceries count. It's currently 1 instant, 2 sorceries. Yeah, so we don't really have enough instants and sorceries. We have a lot of non-creatures from like the Fountain Port Bell, the Sherepot, the Sugarcoat, so we're still triggering our stuff, but I think Shore Up is going to be better. Also plays well with the Emberheart Challenger. Now we're going to take Might of the Meek, another instant that can just be like a way to chain through our deck a little bit, trigger our prowess cards and such. I don't think we want the Recruiter. Sure, we'll take the Guard Mouse. I don't think we want to play it, though. I do think Fireglass Mentor can be good. Scales of Shale, maybe in those red-black decks. Okay, I just need to reset a little bit, make sure I hover over the cards. This is a 4 mana 3/4. I was doing a really good job of it at the beginning, and then I kind of lost the thread a little bit. I got too excited. But there's a 4 mana 3/4. You can like target it to scry 1 and get +1/+0 in first strike. Shore Up can give something hexproof, +1/+1, and you untap it. Might of the Meek lets you target something, it gets +1/+0. And if you control a mouse, you draw a card. Wow, super late Vine Reap Mentor. I'll just take the Heirloom Epic, though, because I don't need to play black-green. I'm okay if I pass a black-green card. Ooh, another Rockface Village. We could potentially consider playing that if we really needed to. For just our little combos. Okay. So, there's a Byway Barterer. You can expend 4, discard your hand if you do draw 2 cards. Interesting. We have a few expensive things. Expend 4 is if you cast that mana worth of spells. So it doesn't have to be exactly. Like if I spend 5 mana to cast a spells, it's fine too. I think Valley Might Caller is one of the best rares in the set too. This card just absolutely a beating on turn 1. I think I'm just going to take out the trash here though. Just a nice interactive spell for 2 mana. Ups my instants and sorceries count. And I don't think this card is going to necessarily be what I need. I don't feel like I'm going to run out of cards necessarily in this deck. And take out the trash is really, really nice. 2 mana, deal 3 is just good. Okay. Now there's another Sugarcoat. There's also a Alania's Pathmaker. I think I'm going to take this. Because it's just a nice little 2-for-1 card. My cards aren't really that situational. It can hit lands. Sugarcoat's another option. But I think I just like getting the Pathmaker. It's an Otter for cards to care about that. I'm hoping not to play these Share Pots at the moment. Probably only going to play 1 Rockface Village. Heirloom Epic. I don't have that many creatures. Got the Guard Mouse. Wow, this card is really good. So basically, if you kill opponent's creatures, they get exiled instead. And then at your end step, you get to make X rats, where X is the number of creatures that were exiled this turn. So you get just like, every time your opponent's thing dies, it says each end step, you get to exile, you get to make a rat pretty much. And then the rats are bigger for other rats. I think I'm just going to take another Quake Tusk Boar though. Pretty nice top end threat here. There is also the potential of just taking a Steam Path Charger. But I really like the Boar. Boar's pretty scary. I'm not planning on playing Mind Spiral. My deck does feel a little bit like aggressive here. And I will take, I think, Eddy Merc Crab. 1 less for each instance and sorcery in your graveyard. I have 4 instants, 1 sorcery. I guess that's not the most. Maybe I just take Steam Path Charger. Yeah, that seems better. 2 mana, 2/1 isn't the best. Or would I just rather loot? Yeah, I don't have as many instants and sorceries as I would like to have. There's a Splash Lasher, which is a really good card. You enters, it taps a creature and puts a stun counter on it, and if you spend an extra 2 mana, you get that effect again with another 1/1. There's also another Fountain Port Bell. There is Cruel Claw's Heist, which I don't think is a great card. I'm kind of like not that heavy in on the cast a bunch of instants and sorceries plan. But that's okay. My deck is still great. There is a Whisker Quill Scribe. There is a Teapot Slinger. My top end of my curve is already pretty good here, I think. I've got these 3 5-drops. I've got my Planeswalker, Splasher, Splash Lasher. I'd rather fill in lower parts of my curve. I think a Whisker Quill Scribe could be perfect. It plays well with the Might of the Meek that I have. The Rockface Village is another combo with that. And just a nice little 2-drop. It's not an instant or sorcery or a non-creature spell, but it's going to be good. Hidden Grotto. I'm not really splashing, so I don't really need that. Flame Cash Gecko. It's a 2 mana 2/2 that can let me discard and draw in the late game. Still just a good card for any deck. Happy to take that here. And you'll also notice my deck is primarily red. So I'm going to be able to like bias my deck towards red, I think, which is going to be pretty nice. Oh my gosh, what a gift. This card's insane. I mean, my deck doesn't necessarily use it as well as I would like, because I don't have as many instants and sorceries, and I have 4 instants, 1 sorcery, 1 artifact, so I'm not like triggering my cards a crazy amount. But I mean, this card's pretty good. This card can make a Otter with Prowess, and then I can make another Otter with Prowess, so it's a like way to trigger my spells twice. I think I'll take that. And now I'll get a Sugarcoat. I just like the idea of triggering my spells twice. And making a little bit of board presence. Sugarcoat's going to be good here for me. This card is terrible. Do not put this card in your deck. It looks terrible to me. I don't need another Mind Spiral. I'll just take another Charger. Remember that these are lands, so they're not like contributing to my spell count. Sugarcoat's a little bit weaker in this deck because giving them some life can be potentially bad. But overall, I'm a big fan of this deck. I wish I had another Fountain Port Bell. Okay, let's see what we shall see. Okay, so let's just put this card in for now, and we'll put this card in for now as well. I don't think I want to play the Veteran Guard Mouse, or the Heirloom Epic, or the Bumbleflower's Sharepot. Because I think I've already got enough answers to things. Okay, so this is 44 cards. I don't think I want to play both Rockface Villages. It is a combo with anything that has Valiant, so it's a combo with this card. It's a combo with this card. Giving stuff haste is always just like kind of appealing. But yeah, I don't think it's like that necessary. I think one copy will be fine. And that'll just make it easier to cast my non-creature spells. Though, how many creatures do I have? This is 16 creatures. 4 instants. Bird, frog, otter, or rat. I have a lot of things that are not those. Bird, frog, otter, rat. Let's see. I have 1 bird, 5 otters, no rats, and 1 frog. Maybe I don't want the Lily Pad Village. It helps me cast Thundertrap Trainer, Tempest Angler, Splash Lasher. It only taps for 3 of my creatures. And doesn't help cast my other blue spells. So I'm just going to cut the Lily Pad Village, and then that will maybe let me run. Okay. Both of my other ones, because most of my creatures do work with this one. Because my only red cards it doesn't cast are Might of the Meek. I guess it doesn't cast Quake Tech Boar, which is kind of a big deal. So I'm just going to go 8/8/1 in my mana. I don't think I'm going to play Mind Spiral. I just think it's a bit expensive for what it does. My instants and sorceries count is now at 4 and 2, so I don't want to play anything too heavily reliant on those. I might not want to run Otterball Antics. Though I do like triggering my stuff twice, so I think it's still probably fine. I don't like the Steam Path Charger all that much. I think I got there on 2 drops, so I don't need those. And then I can cut the Roughshod Duo and call it a day, I think. I think this deck is going to be really fun to play. I'm super excited for it. I'm going to make Ral the art on the box, and I will see you folks in... Oh, I guess I'm just going to go right into the game. I don't have to do anything crazy. This deck looks really fun. Yeah, we're going to be playing 5 rounds here to maximize the time in the early access event, so we'll get a good experience with this. Our opponent is a person of culture. They've also chosen to use the Helga avatar, and we are happy to have this hand. We have the Gecko. Our hand just got exponentially better. Ral is so good. We're going to have so many otters. I like how, because I played so much in the previous early access event, my rank did not decay. And I am just chilling with my current rank. I'm just going to sugarcoat this guy. I'm just going to wait and give them the opportunity to use Bravekin Duo. Thistle down players, sure. Definitely just plus. One thing to note about the bell, that one of the reasons it's so good is you don't have to get a land. You can search for a land, but if you don't need one, just play it, sack it to get another card. My opponent's immediately under a lot of pressure here. I can protect Ral with chump blocking very easily here. I'm about to play a big 5/5. I'm also thinking if I want to just draw the 3 cards. Okay, sure. If they have +3/+3 and trample, that's pretty good for them, but it's really hard for them to get through this. Oh, that's really good.
Together we can shift the current.
I'm just going to do this. They might have a kill spell that can kill a big thing. So they had 3 mana that they didn't spend. What does that mean? Okay, it means that they're dead. Okay. They maybe had a double green card. Yeah, we were in really good shape there. Ral is one of those cards that turns our deck into a control deck. Normally we'd be trying to hit them with our like boar and then ping them out with the mage and all that stuff. But Ral can definitely turn our deck into a controlling strategy. The more I think about it, the more I really like that 1 mana artifact, like the Fountain Port Bell. I really just like that it like helps you fix your colors. Like if I had a second one of those, I would be much more likely to play the extra like rocks, the extra land that can tap for only casting certain types of spells. The Quake Tusk Boar is a bit of a non-bow with that card, which is why I'm only playing 1. Because imagine that game, but we have 2 of the like red special land that can't tap for like anything except lizards and I've actually got it's lizards, lizards, mice, otters, and raccoons is the way that one works. The way that I remember that is that lizards really like sitting on rocks. Otters use rocks to crack open sea urchins. The mice and mountain start with the same letter, and it taps for red like a mountain. And for raccoons, it is what was the way I remembered raccoons? I mean, I remembered raccoons, but oh gosh, we're playing against the same opponent. Well, we'll just imagine this as a best 2 out of 3 then. Hopefully we win this one. Easy keep. Our Emberheart Challenger is going to be awesome. It is. I was gonna say. So it is Rock Face. Oh yeah, because it's Rock Face Village, and raccoons have the special like stripes on their face. So yeah, easy. Memory technique. Having the strangest sense of deja vu. I could have cast the Mage and then guaranteed cast Pearl of Wisdom next turn. Who needs it? Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to just wait. The reason for that is that I'm almost certainly going to get to use Dire Downdraft here. Okay, they have Overprotect. That's fine. Perfect, just what I wanted. I hit a land. And now we're really cooking. Like, forcing them to use this is just slows them down a little bit, too. Oh, okay. So they just draw a card there. Like, this card's always just crazy good, but yeah. Okay. We're going to try to hit a land here. Beautiful. Sure. Interesting. So this can maybe help me hit another land. And if they don't have a kill spell, I'm going to win here. But that's the reason I kept this 4-2 alive and traded off the other two guys. I am dead to a kill spell here. Okay, I'm not quite dead to that one. Yep, they got me. I guess maybe this card was a little bit too good for me to beat. Who knows? It's really the flying that's an issue here. Maybe I got too aggressive. Yep, they got me. Huh. Huh, well, I wish that I had been able to win that one. If they hadn't killed the Dragonhawk, I was going to win for sure. The ability to just kill it for 2 mana was just too much for me. Because then they got to then play another threat. I could have also... I think I got a little bit greedy with the Dragonhawk play. Because what I could have done was saved an extra 2/2. It wasn't going to really matter because one of the reasons I did it that way was because the problem was the flyer, not the ground creatures. So keeping my 4/2 around was better for that. But I could have, like, instead of double blocking there... Actually, no, because the thing has trample. So yeah, I kind of had to double block it. Okay. Here we go. Perfect. On the play, we have our great card, Fountain Port Bell. We will get an island with it. See what we shall see. Okay. Regretting getting the island. Sure. Hey, see a guy in a blue hood around here? He's looking for Jace in the lore. They have a combat trick too. Oh my gosh. That's unfortunate for me.
I hate dead ends.
Definitely unfortunate. Oh my gosh. Like, that's like the only card. Like, I guess any combat trick does that. But if they don't kill it, then I'm in such good shape. I could have also just, like, accepted he was going to die. I think any of these trades are good for me. That's actually the block that I wanted them to make. I guess the best block would have been for me would have been they blocked the Otter, but... Oh, gosh. If I find one more spell, I'm going to be able to put this game away, I think. They got rid of... Why can't I look at their graveyard? Oh, that's bad. They have a few more spells. Sure. Sure. I'm just stalling until I find my Dragonhawk at this point. Wow, they don't want to keep that. Oh, they already have a second one. That makes sense. Okay, so they're a little bit ahead here. Especially if I draw like that. But we've both played a lot of lands here. Dang it. Yeah. Yeah, this is bad for me. I'm basically dead. Is that good enough? Unfortunately not. Oh well. If I'd drawn that last turn, it would have been potentially good enough. It's just, yeah. I didn't draw particularly great there down the stretch. We'll do one more evaluation of our deck. Hopefully we get to the 5 rounds. As I was saying, I'm only going to play 5 rounds regardless. And I'm happy to share decks where I don't necessarily win. That one was like, I flooded out really badly after my like one main threat died. And that was kind of that. And yeah, I don't think there's any cards that I really want to play. That's kind of, felt kind of dicey there. I don't know. Like, felt like I was in okay shape, and then I just drew a bunch of lands in a row. If I had played Ral and just accepted it was going to die, then I could have just, like, gotten through my deck a lot faster. But I think the upside of just keeping Ral around is really good, and the only real way I get punished is if they have a combat trick. Sure, they could have one, and they did. But even then, I still ended up with a 1-1, so it wasn't, like, the end of the world. It just was pretty bad for me. I didn't have a lot of spells at the time, though, so it wasn't like I had, like, huge options. I could have, like, waited and then tried to, like, end step something, but they were always going to have the option to kill Ral, I think, with the way my draw turned out. And, yeah. So maybe I was just supposed to play it as, like, a big... It's just, like, playing 4 mana for a draw 3, discard 2 is not generally the best. You just want to get some more value out of your guy. Turned out putting a land on top to guarantee turn 4 Ral was really bad because I ended up drawing a bunch of lands anyway. And that was not ideal. But yeah, I have some really good cards in this deck. Like if I'd drawn a Quake Tusk Boar, the reach would have been really good there. We were both in top deck mode for a little bit there, and I just didn't find a spell. I was like slightly behind on the board when the top deck war started. So, let's see. Rematch time, let's go. So last time I lost the rematch. This time we'll try to win it. Huge. We have our Dragonhawk. Our Scribe. Sure. That worked out. They didn't choose to mill the cards. That's weird. I might just wait on playing the Dragonhawk if I find something else to do next turn. Playing it with Shore Up backup is pretty good. Sure. Well, that's a great draw. Well, not drawing 4 lands is still good there. I think that Sugarcoat is better than 2 random cards. I'm still toast if they kill my Dragonhawk, though, which is unfortunate. Gosh, darn it. Oh, this is so tough.
Thanks for the helping cock. New world requires new strategy.
I'm in so much trouble. I just really struggle against flyers. They're killing me. Okay.
Observe, analyze, iterate.
Okay. Hmm.
Well, gotta work with what's available.
Got the ground locked up. I think I'm dead here. Not the best draft to start off my format, but I feel like this is just a really I don't know, maybe my deck doesn't have enough win cons or something, but
Oh yeah, plans coming together.
this Death Touch is really irritating too. There's so many flyers. Oh my gosh.
Think big.
Oh, that could be good. So I need to play this. Discard that. Discard the Challenger, I think. So I have to tap both their flyers. I feel like I'm dead here. Yeah, they're just going to be able to get back there, big guy. Oh, man. Ah, that's so frustrating. What a brutal loss. Oh, man. The first one because my Ral died too soon. The second one because, I don't know, I couldn't find a reach creature. Oh my gosh. They killed my Dragonhawk. They had 2 removal spells. That was pretty much the game there. Oh, that's so tough. Oh well, 1 and 3, not the best. Honestly, I felt like the deck was really good. So it was kind of like just the way things lined up. Like we didn't get play against a huge range of matchups, and flyers definitely seem like this deck's weakness. Like as you saw, we had so many ground creatures, but like the life gain deck just like doesn't care about our pings, and the fact that they had a Death Toucher there, like if they had like any card but a Death Toucher, our Tempest Angler would have hit them like 12 times. But we had like use all removal on flyers, and then we weren't able to use that thing. So that's kind of how that went. But still a fun draft, definitely educational. We got to try some cool cards. In the draft portion, I think we ended up with a really cool deck, even if it didn't perform the best. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, first of all, huge shout out to Wizards of the Coast for giving me a free preview account so I could get this recorded early. Not every draft has to go your way for it to be a fun time and for you to learn something. But if you did make it all the way to the end, leave hashtag Ral's Fate in the comment section down below, because Ral's Fate was not victorious, but it was kind of a cool little 2 mythic combo for our first draft. That's going to do it for this one, though. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.